Once upon a time, in a small village surrounded by thick forests and winding rivers, there lived a boy who was not like other children. From the day he was born, people gathered around his mother's hut to see him. But instead of joy, whispers filled the air. His nose was not small like other babies. It was large and stretching down past his lips. The villagers gasped and covered their mouths. Some even crossed themselves and walked away, shaking their heads. His father, Okeke, was a proud man. He stood at the doorway of the hut, staring at the baby in silence. His mother, Adis, held the boy in her arms, her eyes full of tears, not because she did not love him, but because she already knew what would happen. The father turned and walked away without a word. "What is his name?" a woman asked. Okeke did not turn back. "That is not my child," he said. The boy was given no name. For 3 days, he was not bathed, not fed properly, and not given the blessing of a name from his people. His mother tried to care for him, but her heart was full of fear. Her husband refused to look at the child. He believed the boy was a curse, a punishment from the gods. On the 5th night, under the cover of darkness, Okeke wrapped the baby in a raffia mat and carried him deep into the forest. "You will not bring shame to my name," he muttered as he dropped the boy beside a riverbank, near the edge of the forest where wild animals roamed. The baby didn't cry. He only looked around with curious eyes, his large nose sniffing the cool night air. Now, deep in that forest, something strange happened. The baby did not die. In fact, he began to giggle. His little nose twitched and danced, sniffing everything around him. He smelled the earth, the trees, and something far away, something sweet and warm. It was the scent of firewood, soup, and kindness. In a nearby part of the village, a poor farmer named Papa Udo and his wife Mama Udo lived in a small mud hut. They had no children of their own. Every morning, Papa Udo would go to the farm and return with just enough to eat. Life was hard, but they loved each other. That night, as Mama Udo was stirring a pot of bitter leaf soup over the fire, she heard a strange sound. It was not the chirping of crickets or the hoot of an owl. It was soft, like a giggle. She stood up, took her lamp, and followed the sound. There, by the riverbank, she saw the baby wrapped in raffia, his nose twitching as he sniffed the air. She gasped but did not run. The baby's eyes locked with hers. He smiled. "Udo," she called. "Come quickly." Papa Udo came running, machete in hand. When he saw the baby, he froze. "Oh, what is this? Is this a spirit?" Mama Udo bent down and picked the child up. "No spirit would smile like this. Look at him. He is beautiful." Papa Udo scratched his head. "His nose. It is big. Very big." "So what?" she replied. "Perhaps the gods made him this way for a reason." They took the boy home. That night, Mama Udo wrapped him in warm cloth and fed him goat milk. She named him Ejike, which means strength from above. And from that night, strange things began to happen. When Ejike turned 7, he began to walk around the compound sniffing the air. One morning, he pulled at Papa Udo's wrapper and pointed toward the bush. "There," he said in his soft child voice, "dig there." Papa Udo looked at him. "Why? There's nothing there." "Dig," the boy insisted. Curious, Papa Udo took his hoe and dug the spot. His hands struck something hard. When he cleared the earth, he found a heavy iron box. Inside was full of gold hidden there long ago by a fleeing trader during a war. The gold were valuable. They used them to buy a bigger farm, a new roof for their hut, and 2 goats. Papa and Mama Udo were shocked, surprised and happy as they found out what Ejike can do. They decided to keep it a secret. From that day, Ejike only sniffed and Papa Udo would plant. Their crops grew larger than others and their yams were larger than anyone in the market. But the villagers didn't like Ejike. They would always tease him and make fun of him. Some jobless women in the village would gather, gossip about Mama Udo and her son with a big nose. "What kind of useless nose is that one? A cursed child they picked at the forest. Please God, don't give me that kind of thing to take care of," one of them said. They warned their children not to play or associate with Ejike. Cursed child, they said. This made Ejike cry and always running back to his mother, Mama Udo. She always consoled him and reminded him how special he was and made hot pepper soup for him. Ejike continued to bring Mama and Papa Udo wealth. They ate like kings and rebuilt their house. The elders started to gossip, this kind of sudden wealth, did you see Udo's cheeks? He eats and dines like a king now, his yams are always bigger, his corn sweet and his tomatoes fresh, I wonder what he's doing different, they murmured. But as dry season approached, the village began to suffer. Farms failed and hunger swept through like wind. Their streams dried up and their goats died of hunger. The villagers grew desperate. But in the middle of it all, Papa Udo's farm bloomed. He planted on land Ejike sniffed and pointed to. The cassava grew thick, the maize full. Though the villagers was in great hunger, Papa Udo and his family ate like kings. Is he using juju? They whispered. Or is it that boy with the big nose? Things became worse in the village, the villagers started seeking solutions. But nothing worked, Papa Udo's family wasn't affected, their barns were full, and they dug a well where Ejike pointed, that brought clean sparkling water. Once again, the elders of the village gathered, their faces full of worry. Something strange was happening in the land, people were falling sick, the streams had dried up, and the crops were no longer growing. One elder stood up and said, my people, things are getting out of hand. We must go and consult the oracle. Only the gods can tell us what is truly wrong. So the elders tied their wrappers, took kola nuts, and set out to visit a powerful native doctor in a faraway village,